Wearing a hair system in this heat? I'm wearing an ultra thin skin poly right now. And trust me, if you don't do this, your system could literally melt off your head. So let me show you how to stay cool, fresh, and secure all summer long. Now, I've been wearing an ultra thin skin all summer, and especially when I was on holiday in Cyprus, I'll be honest with you, the heat, the sweat, the constant paranoia that the bond might be weakening and your hair system might be lifting. Yeah, I've been there. But don't stress, because in this video I'm giving you the ultimate guide to surviving the heat with a poly hair system and looking and feeling fresh. Now first off, I'm going to dispel some myths. In my opinion, you do not need a lace base to get through a hot summer. That may have been the case 10, 15 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, but the technology has come so far with poly hair systems now that you can rock it in pretty much any weather. Now, are they breathable like a lace base? Well, no, they're not, but in my opinion, they don't need to be. Now, on that point, could it be fair to say that with a poly in extreme heat, you'll sweat more than with a lace? I think probably yes, but does that mean it's not doable? Well, no. I mean, the last 2 holidays I've been on to extremely warm climates, we're talking mid to late 30s centigrade, so kind of like 90s to 100 Fahrenheit. I've worn ultra thin skins on both occasions and I've not had a problem. I have had some lifts, that much is true. But a holiday I went on a couple of years ago, in extreme heat again, I wore a lace base and I got lifts with that as well. In fact, in a weird kind of way, the lace actually felt more uncomfortable in the heat than the poly. Is that going to be the case for everyone? No, it's not. But I certainly do find a poly easier to manage in the heat. Now, a common mistake that I've seen with guys when they have a lift, they're wearing a poly in the heat, is that they panic, they try to overcompensate, and they literally whack down a load of glue where they've got a lift without actually cleaning it and letting the glue dry. Now, the most important thing is that when you do have a lift, it's gonna happen when it's hotter. Remain calm, ensure that you clean the area that is lifted, and then just put some glue back on it, make sure you let it dry, try and keep sweat away from it for like 5-10 minutes, and then just put it down again. It's really not that hard, but I need to make sure that you guys are cleaning it, cleaning that scalp before re-gluing. If you just re-glue it without cleaning it using isopropyl alcohol, then it's just gonna lift again in a really short period of time. So that's the most important thing. But if you're finding you're getting lifts a lot, it's really important to maybe consider using a different glue or maybe even a tape or maybe even both together. And I haven't spoken about using both together for a long ass time. So using glue, but also using tape. Now, my favorite glue for this exact sweaty situation is Ultra Hold by Walker. This is a really, really good glue. It's got a very good hold and it's sweat resistant. It's pretty much the strongest glue out there. And for my UK based viewers, I'm actually in the middle of having discussions with various different vendors as to who is the most trustworthy when it actually comes to getting exactly what you've ordered. I've been made aware that there's actually a number of counterfeit products available on the market, particularly on Amazon and eBay. So it's not the real thing. It doesn't actually have all of the ingredients that it says it does, which is also kind of scary because it means that we don't actually know what's in these products and whether it's harmful to human health. So those discussions are going on right now. In the next couple of weeks, I will have a recommended vendor just for you guys, which 100% gets the Adam Revive Your Hair seal of approval. Because it's more important to me than anything that you guys are getting the right product, legitimate, real products, and you're not wasting your money on imitations. And here's a little hint for you. If you've bought a product off Amazon and it's not sticking as well as it used to, let's say a Ghost Bond, or it's maybe more itchy than a previous bottle of Ghost Bond, chances are it's counterfeit. I'm sorry to break it to you. But back to polys and summer, heat and sweat. If you don't feel confident enough just using that, you might want to do a double team. So basically what you'd do is you'd use a tape. For instance, this is lace front. It's one of my favorite ones. It does work with polys as well. You'd place this on the system and then you'd use Ultra Hold on your scalp. This will give you the best, most sweat resistant hold. And you should really notice a difference. If you're going to the gym a lot, if you're sunbathing in the heat and you're sweating a lot, you should get a longer hold if you use both of these in conjunction. I want you to make sure that you're checking your bond every 3 to 4 days. Not once a week, not once every 10 days. I really want you to be on top of this. This is what I do. This is part of my regime now. So every 3 to 4 days, I just have a close inspection of the hairline, see how it's feeling. Does it still feel quite firmly bonded to the base? If there's a weakness or some possible lifting, I know what to do. Now, a little bonus tape with the glue as well. If you're living in a hot country and it's summer, please keep the glue that you're using away from extreme heat. Maybe keep it in a drawer, maybe keep it in a cupboard, because the thing is, heat, much like when it's bonded to your scalp, heat degrades the bond. And that can happen inside the bottle as well. So please keep it in a cool, dry place, if at all possible. Now, something else to consider in summer when you're wearing a poly is ensuring that you've got some sort of sun protection. I kind of call this the secret killer. So I've mentioned a million times that UV rays can actually cause the hair on your hair system to effectively dry out, but also develop some sort of gingery undertones over time. But also, if you leave your poly out in the sun long enough, it can actually damage the poly. Remember guys, this is polyurethane. And over time, if it's given enough sun exposure, it can start to get discolored itself. It can go a little bit yellowish, and that is not what you want. You don't want a sort of yellowish poly just like shining off your scalp, because it can start to look really obvious. Now, I haven't heard too much about this, but I have seen a couple of guys on various forums who have been sitting in the sun too long, and they're like, why on earth has my poly base started going a bit yellowish? And this is why. It all comes back to the UV. And that's why I always recommend, if you're in the sun for long periods of time, if possible, try and wear a hat. And if you can't wear a hat, be smart, think ahead. You don't need to stay in direct sunlight for 8, 9, 10 hours at a time. Now, the last piece I'm going to talk about is styling. In the heat of summer, I keep styling to a minimum in terms of product that I use. Because believe it or not, heavy products in the sun for a long time can really cook your system. I'm not exaggerating. Now, I use a leave-in conditioner spray with heat protection and UV protection built in. I'm actually alternating between these two products coming up on the screen right now. At the moment, I'm finding that the Pantene one really does give very, very good UV protection. Probably the best I've come across so far. It keeps it soft without going too greasy. And I'm not a huge fan of this, but if your hair is starting to go really quite frizzy, a small pea-sized amount of anti-frizz cream can really help tame that beast. Again, don't overdo this. Remember, less is more in the summer heat. So to recap, if you like polys, go for it in summer. Absolutely go for it. There's absolutely no reason why you can't wear a poly in summer. Just make sure you do your maintenance properly. Don't panic when you have a lift. Protect it from the sun where possible. And just go a bit easier on styling products if you use them. And if you're new to the game and feeling a little bit overwhelmed, my Hair System Bootcamp Master DIY Maintenance could be right up your alley. That is linked below in the description box. It's also popping up as a link at the top of this video. It's £40 off at the moment, so make sure you get in on that discount. But if that is what you're considering, you'll want to get yourself a hair system sorted first. LaVivid are offering 15% off any stock system in their catalog. So don't forget to use the code ADAM15. Again, all of that info is in the description box below. Save yourself some money. And before I bid you farewell, let me know in the comments box below if you wear a poly yourself throughout summer. Is it something that you've actually found easier than you thought it would be? I think there's a lot of misinformation out there saying you can't wear polys in summer, you can't deal with the heat. In my opinion, that's absolute nonsense. You just need to put the right things in place. And I hope that video has answered some of your burning questions. That's what this channel is all about. And I'll speak to you very soon.